Looks like it's doing it. Heck yeah, man, that's working good. So far our plan is working just like we wanted to. Went ahead and got 2 more bars. Go ahead and we're gonna start getting these worked under there now. That one started there. We got another one here that we'll roll it up on. I'll just keep going and until we exhaust the come along chain there and then reset. We've made it just about to the end of the come along. I've got a little bit more to go. About all I can get with the come along there. It's trying to bind up. I gotta loosen that up, but we'll have to go ahead and just reset the chains. I've already had to I've run out of slack back here with the D-ring, so we just hooked them around to the side of the trailer there. All right, so I'm just gonna try to get it to the end here, and then once we get it to the end, we'll get everything reset on getting it over to the ramps. Gotta get this bar up underneath there, just like that. This was a piece of round stock I've had for a long time. It was a piece that me and Dad had split because we needed to make a piece that shape there. You see, we cut it in a horizontal mill, but that worked good to lay there for, you know, the chains and stuff to roll over. Got out a chain back there. It's going to stop right there too. I'm going to keep pulling it that way, just waiting for the center point of this thing to pivot and go down. So I'm going to have a 2x4 underneath there to ramp so it doesn't have so far to go down, and then that should catch it there. We'll see what happens then. Got the front picked up a little bit with the toe jack, and I'm moving this 2x out of the way. I'm going to lay it down on the bar and see if that works anyway. I'll still be dragging it on the back end, so I don't think it'll roll. Well, I was wrong there, it slid. I think I got that chain on there. I think I got this thing ready to lower it down the ramp here. Alright, 2 1-inch bars underneath it now. It should be able to roll down that thing. got the front of the machine just about basically here on the concrete. I had to put the toe jack here in front of it so that I could make sure that I could get under it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick it up. I've got these two machinery skates right here. I'm going to put both these under the front end so that it'll continue to roll. I just bolted a 2x to the channel there. Alright, we're going to do something just about like this. And I want to try to walk it back that way too. Let's try that right there. All right, we're getting into our home stretch now. See if we can finish getting it down. All right, we're off the trailer. Man. Still sitting on a little bit of that 2x at the end there. There you go. All right. We are on the concrete, finally. I was trying to get to this point before the end of the day to at least get it down off of the trailer and onto the concrete there. So I am tired. I've been working at this thing for 6 hours plus. I'm just really tired. So I'm gonna get all my tools picked up, put away, you know, the trailer, the chains, all this stuff. And I'm gonna come out here in the morning and finish moving it around. What I'm gonna do, I'll get it on the bars there to where we can roll it, you know, nice and easy and level there on all those bars. Well, it's the next morning. I got my coffee out here. I'm just checking out the shaper. Thought I would give you a little bit closer look at it and kind of talk about my thoughts. You know, I've been sharing the adventure over on my Instagram, which is kind of normal for me. Whenever I'm doing something, I share pictures there so people kind of see what I've been getting into. I have a lot of questions as to why buy another shaper. Part of the reason is because I'm a collector of tools and machines, or I consider myself a collector, and I like these old machines. And the past few years I've been getting back into, you know, shapers in general. You see that I've got the G&E, and I've been wanting another one around here. There's two differences between shapers, two primary differences, and that's generally the table. This is a box table machine. You can see that it's just more of a square table. It does not rotate. This is just flat, you know, for mainly just doing flat work. And the G&E has a universal table, so it'll actually pivot and tilt, where this one does not. So the machine seems to be in good condition. Whoever had it, it actually was at a school, like I believe a high school machine shop. It looks like at some point they covered it up with some some kind of heavy oil or cosmoline or some kind of rust inhibitor. It's turned really dark. That's why everything looks so dark on here. So it definitely needs a good cleaning. It is a 25-inch shaper. I believe the BG means bull gear, but I haven't confirmed that yet. So it's been painted over quite heavily, which is common with a lot of these older machines. You can see that they painted up inside them T-slots there. If this come from a school, I'd imagine they probably had the students at one point give them a paint can and a brush and told them to get busy. So it's kept it pretty well preserved though. There's a lot of machine tags on here that need to be cleaned up so that we can read to see what they say, but a lot of them were painted over. So I haven't even got in here to read what all of them say yet. Looks to be the original motor on here. It's a Westinghouse. It is a 7.5 horsepower. There's another tag back there talking about the clutch and greasing, and there's a machinery dealer tag right there. I'm looking forward to getting that one cleaned off. This one is built similar to the G&E in the fact that the top serves as the gib for the ramways. So you have your gib adjustment here. This pushes this top rail over, and then these bolts hold it down. We've got an oil sight here. This will need to be restored, and let me see if there's one on the other side there as well. Yep, we got one over here too. So these would be some good things to restore here so we can see our oiling. This is the only part that I've seen damaged so far, is the way wiper. So I believe this is something that we're going to have to see about rebuilding, machining a new one. This side looks like I think it's going to be fine, but this one definitely got hit, so we're probably going to have to replace that. But I wanted to be able to pick this machine up. I found it on Marketplace. I talked to the owner. It was a construction company. They had bought it in a lot of other tools and machines from that school, and this was something that they didn't need. And he gave me a really good price on it. I didn't pay a lot of money for it, and it's just going to be a nice machine to have to add to my collection, and hopefully make this some kind of like long-term restoration project. It would be nice to strip this thing down, get it down to, I don't know, bare metal, but get it stripped down, get all this old paint off of it, and clean it up, get all of our machine surfaces cleaned up, and maybe even do some scraping on it, you know, like the ramways. I might get my buddy Lance over here one of these days, and me and him tackle this to re-scrape the ramways, get these looking like they should be, clean all this bare metal up, you know, and then put a fresh paint job on it. Just enjoy having this old machine and getting it cleaned up and saving it from the scrapyard. That's kind of what this is all about. So next phase, I'm going to go ahead, I think I'm going to go ahead and roll it into the shop there, because I think I would like to go ahead and get it, well, at least plug it in and see if it works. I'm going to replace this. I've got another cord and a new plug that I'll put on here, and we'll probably just roll it right in the door where that other table usually sits. We'll bring the table out here, get it in there, and we'll fire it up. Hopefully that's what the plan's going to be. I managed to push it a little bit. It is very heavy, but I'm going to see if I can continue to get it pushed up. We got the pallet jack on the back end, the roller skates on the front there, so let's see if I can do it. It's moving. Ain't gonna be able to get it over that. Just enough to make it stop. Let me see if I can get a little momentum on it, actually. get the front end over this way. I'm just trying to push the front end over that way some because I'm too far over. Pick it up with the pry bar and swing it around. Man, that thing's heavy. All right, I think we got it. All right, we got it in the door now. I can go ahead and shut it up and get it off these pallets. Well, I managed to get it in the shop and everything is safe. I'm safe. I didn't hurt myself, but it was a job getting it in here. I got it sitting on some blocks now, some wooden blocks. And next phase is to, I just want to see if I can get this thing running. So I'm going to replace this cord here. I've got a new cord and a new plug, and my plan is to be able to plug it in there where the G&E is plugged in. That's another reason why I wanted to pull it in right here. But that's going to have to wait for the time being. I've got some other work that I need to get done, but this was my goal, was to get it off the trailer into the shop so that this much of it is done. But as soon as we get, you know, I'll bring you back whenever we get to working on the power there and getting it fired up. And whenever we do that, I'll have the cameras rolling so that you guys can see it fire up for the first time. Cross our fingers that it's going to run, that it's going to operate, and we're not going to have any issues there. So we'll bring you back real soon to show you the thing running, I hope. You guys ready to see this shaper run? I just got it wired up. I got a cord that I wired into the switch box there, put a plug on it so we can plug it into the receptacle and fire it up. Let me show you what I've done. We've got this is where the cord is going into the box there. There's an on and off switch. There's the plug over there. You can also see the cover. Let me show you that. I took that off because I want to be able to turn the machine on with hopes. And there's looking in the inside there. I want to see if we're going to have any oil pumping, because there's no telling how many years this thing has just been sitting idle. You can see that everything's pretty dry. There's no oil on anything there. It does appear to be full. By the way, that cover right there, I didn't realize what this was until I had to go take this thing off. This is the handle so that you can pick the thing up. The solid cast iron cover. Look at that. It's heavy too, man. Solid cast. Way cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and give it a shot and see if we're gonna have any luck with our, well, first of all, rotation. We don't even know if it's going to run. We got to make sure it's rotating right. And if it fires up and runs, we need to see if we're getting some oil. So we'll go ahead and take our plug and, all right, nothing exploded yet, so that's a good sign. By the way, I cleaned this off just a little bit right here. I wanted to see what it looked like underneath all of this, whatever this rust inhibitor they put on there. So I just lightly cleaned that off just to get the gumminess off of it, so you can see a little bit of difference between a little bit of clean versus how it is right now. I had wiped that down whenever I brought it home. All right, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens here. Wow, Wow, that's pretty smooth and quiet, man. Yeah. All right, let's come around here and see. Looking to see if we get any oil up here. Let me come around here and see what's going on. All right, I don't see any oil pumping. So we're gonna have to dig further into it and find out if our level is off or something's wrong with the oiling system. Seems to be pretty smooth running motor. Definitely no oil pumping. Yeah, we'll be having to go into this one to find out why it's not pumping oil. You're not going to be able to run this thing without it pumping oil up there. It pumps oil up to the ways and lubricates the gears and everything. But let's go ahead and just move it. Let's just move it out a little bit and see what it does. I'm not going to run it. We're just going to move the ram. I think that I've got it into the lowest stroke, which is 8. Oh, there we go. Okay. Pretty sensitive there. Well. I'm not sure what's going on here. Clutch. I'm starting to see some oil. Maybe it doesn't pump unless you're actually running it. 'Cause I saw some coming out. I thought I had it in gear. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. It's pumping whenever we engage the clutch. Something ain't right though. It's not stroking. Let me see if it's pumping here. Alright, we're getting some pumping action now. Yep. Let me do some more checking and I'll bring you guys back, okay? I think I figured out a couple more things of what I was doing wrong. I actually don't have a book on this yet. Now that I got it in here and we're working on it, I'm actually going to see about finding the proper owners and operation manuals for this machine. But the stroke adjust is right here, and I had this is a lock right here and it was loose, and that's why the ram movement was looking real funny. You also adjust the stroke right there. This is the handle that you use. And you push that in. I got that spring, that sleeve right there. So this is what you use to adjust your stroke. But the first thing you have to do, I can't do it one-handed really. You have to loosen this. All right. And then once you loosen that, you can stick this in on that other square, and you can adjust the stroke. But the problem is the stroke indicator, the stroke length there is not working right. So that's something that I know I got to look into and find out. Maybe it's just froze up sitting on there, but this is not moving. So this square here, let me get it on there. All right, that lock has to be snug. And now we're getting proper movement on the ram. We got it in the slowest speed, which is 8 strokes a minute. We are getting oil pumping, so that's good. I was worried that it wasn't going to be working, but it is. Everything seems pretty decent so far. I made sure the feed was working, so this is your feed selection right there. You have to turn this, which is actually kind of stiff, but you can turn that to change the dial. We're at 140 thousandths per stroke right now. You can reverse it and feed it the other way. All right. This one's going to be for your knee right there. I'm assuming that the knee is not power feed, but I bumped the, this is for rapid. Let's go ahead and disengage it. I can hear the motor humming when I hit the switch, but it's not working, so we know that that's going to be an issue right there, is our rapid motor. But the main motor seems to be nice and smooth. Clutch is working good. Oil is pumping. All right. Well, we know we got a functioning machine, so that's a good positive right there. We got a lot of work to do. This thing really needs to be torn down. You know, just take it all apart. Maybe not the transmission, but you know, take the ram off, take the table off, all the other components. We need to check out the feeds, why that dial isn't working, and find out about the rapid motor there as well. So we do have a laundry list of things we got to check, but excited to finally show you the Smith & Mills running. Well guys, it's been a little over a month since the last footage that you just watched of me getting the Smith & Mills off the trailer and into the shop in the initial first test run. So I've got a couple of updates that I want to tell you about so that we can kind of finish this video out, and we'll be current on the Smith & Mills and you'll see exactly where we stand on it. So what I had figured out was that when I originally wired it up and plugged it in, we plugged it in over there. What I figured out was that this machine is actually configured for 480 voltage, and that's what the problem was. That's why the contactor there was kind of a slow starting motor, and I could tell that we weren't getting the power here. I could tell that it was slowing down on the return stroke, and I could actually look over and see the pulley kind of bog down a little bit on the return stroke. Not only that, our rapid was not working either. You know, we could hear it buzzing. So all that led me to believe that this was a high voltage wired configuration, and in fact it is. So I have installed a 480 volt receptacle over there, and so I can plug it into a dedicated receptacle there just to run it where we're at right here. So let's go ahead and fire it up and you can hear the difference. Okay. Instant starts up. That motor runs nice and smooth too, man. I gotta say that the Smith & Mills is a much quieter machine than the G&E there when it comes to the motor and the transmission moving. All right, so we got that figured out, and that also cured our feed motor, our rapid. Okay, so here's our rapid. Now it is a little bit noisy, but I think that's just how it operates. Now, unfortunately, this does not have a rapid for the knee, so you can't power it up and down like you can the G&E. This one you got to crank right here by hand. That's okay. So that kind of fixes the power issue there. We'll go ahead and run it for you. There we go. It's nice and smooth. I can't really do this with the G&E because I told you I've got a transmission issue. It'll jump out of gear. But this thing is, I've got it kind of stroked out. Not quite full stroke, but pretty good stroke there. So you can see it's doing good. The clutch works good. If you push it all the way in, that's actually a brake. But you can really just kind of bump the clutch there, drift it if you need to get the tool in position the way you want. It works pretty slick. That's pretty neat. We'll put it in low gear here. That's low gear. This is the gear we showed in the previous video, running I think 8 strokes a minute. So there you go. Let me go ahead and we'll shut it off here. Nice and smooth. So I do know in fact that we have an issue here in this gearbox. Our feed, this should, well, you can see it's turning there, but something's actually wrong with it because it wants to lock up and I cannot get it to change feed speeds. So it's stuck in one feed, so there's something going on in here. Also, you know, this doesn't work where you can see where your stroke is. This just doesn't want to move. So we know we're going to be going into this to fix some mechanical issues inside that. So other than this, I know this is going to be a major issue that we have to repair. Our way wipers are damaged, so we need to replace those. And other than those two things, I can't recall any other kind of like major repairs that need to be done on it. I want to fix the studs here, replace the nuts and the studs. You can see, you know, you got this kind of stuff going on, but all this is going to be taken apart, cleaned well. I want to get the table cleaned, all of the way surfaces cleaned well, and I definitely want to see about scraping the ramway on this one here. You know, we'll take the gib off. We'll do some actual inspection with straight edges on the ram to see where it's at, and hopefully it's not going to be that bad. I'm hoping I don't have an issue like John had over there with his Cincinnati, but I don't know until we inspect it. But that's the kind of stuff I want to do. So this is going to be sort of a long-term restoration project for me for the shop here. That's really what I wanted this machine for. It's not that I needed another shaper. This is just a project for me. It's a hobby, it's a project, something fun to do. You know, I like to restore machines, even though I really don't restore very many. I do like to restore machines, and that's really what I want to do with this. And one of these days, this thing's going to be restored, and it's going to be a nice shaper just to kind of have a little bit of fun on and make some nice cuts with. All right, so that is where we're at, guys. We are now current with the Smith & Mills, and the next plan from here is to actually just kind of put it right back outside, right here by the door, cover it up good. And I've got Keith's Stoker engine that he's restoring that I got to do some machine work on, and that's going to be a project for the G&E. I have got a large fixture plate that I've got to machine that's going to bolt onto the table that the Stoker engine will bolt to. So I've had a lot of jobs in here I've been trying to like knock out, get those jobs done so I can get to that Stoker engine and get that done. And I'm hoping that once I get all those jobs out of my way, I can kind of start on some of my own production work, some of my own production jobs that I have here that I need to get done. So that's kind of my goal for the next 2-3 months, hopefully, is kind of get all that stuff started, get the jobs done and get my stuff started so that I can work on my personal project for the shop here as well. All right, so that's it. We'll see you guys later. Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll catch you on the next project, all right?